Hi, and welcome back to Engine Shop Joe. Tonight I want to talk a little bit about some technical service bulletins that have been released rather recently, and I think that you need to know about. The first one is for the B67, L9, X12, and X15 CM2450 engines. So those are the brand new engines. And if you connect to the 3-pin data port on the engine to communicate with Insight or Service Tool, and fault code 2771 or 3232 go active, that's a software problem. You'll need to disconnect, key off for at least a minute, key back on, restart the engine. Those faults should be inactive. If they won't go inactive, then you would proceed with the troubleshooting for those faults. Or if you check the timestamps and those faults were there before you connected, you would continue with published troubleshooting for those faults. Otherwise, a calibration update is going to fix that. It's probably released by now, and so if you update to the current calibration, that problem would go away. Next, I wanted to talk about the X12 2450. If you grab one of these engines and it's a new one, you may start having problems with fault code 1921 and 1922. If you remember, those are the after treatment faults. 1921 is the third stage of restriction, and you're starting to get in trouble when that goes active. At that point, you'd have to pull over and do a stationary regen by using the after treatment stationary regen button on your dash. If that button's not on your truck, the truck should start a passive regen. And if it can't, then you're going to be going to 1922. The problem is not the after treatment or the engine. The problem is a software bug, and there's a calibration update to repair that. So if you download the current calibration revision, you should see in the revision list that it addresses fault code 1921 and 1922, and that will solve that problem, and that's only on the X12 2350 or 2450 platform engines. Next, the engine company's been receiving a lot of the after treatment DEF dosing valves, and the DEF dosing pumps back as failed, and they're pretty much all not failed, and they work properly in a test cell. This is on the following engines: the B67, 2350, 2450, L9, 2350, 2450, X12, and X15, 2350, 2450 engines. So all the stuff that's 2018 and newer up to current, they're getting a lot of these parts back, and there's nothing wrong with them. And they're saying it's the OEM harness. Now, those parts all have OEM wiring that connect them to the respective ECMs that they're connected to. And they're finding that the problem is tarnished pins, pins that got water in them, corroded pins, wires that were burned, wires that are cracked, wires that were rubbed raw because they were laying against a tank or something, and going down the road, vibration just rubbed through the loom and then through the wires. So check your OEM wiring before you take that in to get it repaired. Make sure there's not a problem. OEMs usually cover their wiring for about a year, and after that you're on your own. Cummins covers the parts if it's a new engine, 2 years, 250,000 miles, those particular parts anyway, unless it's OEM wiring. And then it's going to be a billable event. Then the last technical service bulletin I wanted to advise you on was the B67 2450 155. So that's a brand new engine, and they're having misfire fault codes, and you can see those codes right up here. And if you start seeing those codes, your check engine light will be coming on, but the engine runs just fine. The problem is that the ECM software calibration is being too sensitive in certain operating modes, and especially in PTO mode. So if you have one of those engines, you're going to run a PTO off of it for extended times, you might see injector faults, but there's actually nothing wrong, and a software update will correct that. Again, check the ECM revisions list in QuickServe Online to see if the revision's there that addresses those fault codes. Thanks for joining me at Engine Shop Joe, and we'll see you next time.